We're all set then for the clash of the Titans in COTA in MotoGP. Round 3 of 2023 coming your way from the Circuit of the Americas. Pecco Bagnaia, the sprint winner yesterday in dominant fashion, 2.5 seconds clear. He finished the 10-lap sprint ahead of Alex Rins. Luca Marini, can he take advantage of that front row start to take his first ever Grand Prix podium in MotoGP? Marco Bezzecchi there, his Muni VR46 Ducati teammate, 1 point clear in the World Championship coming into this 20-lap Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas. Bagnaia is an overwhelming red-hot 3-race favourite, but anything can happen in MotoGP. Race for your dreams. Well, will it be a dream Ducati double here today then, or this weekend for Pecco Bagnaia? Let's get some late pre-race thoughts in terms of tyre choice. Of course, we saw everybody on the hard front soft rear in the sprint yesterday in the hottest condition of the weekend. Let's pop back down to Simon Crayford with Michelin Motorsport manager Piero Taramasso.
Piero, we've heard from the team managers how some of them worrying about the rear tyre life at the end, others not, and others worrying, well, in general, everyone worrying about getting the front tyre pressure correct. What are you worrying about?
Yes, this is important topics. Now we have a lot of data coming from the sprint yesterday about the rear life and about the pressure. Yesterday they did a very good job, the teams and the tires. For sure now you have to do 10 more laps and they can adjust a little bit more, they can optimize the front tire pressure, but again they have the data, they have the knowledge to do. And about the rear tire life, for me it won't be a concern. Last year we did the race here with the same specification, was 37 degrees on the track, now it's 39, and I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Thank you, Piero.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks to Piero Taramasso. We are actually still awaiting official confirmation of exactly what the tyre choices are in this Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas. No Alex Rins clear there, you can see on his yellow banded hard front tyre. Is he going to go for the soft rear as well, just as he did the combination in the sprint? Some of our previous race winners here include Alex Rins back in 2019, but we are missing 2 top men who would have starred here in the Lone Star State, wouldn't we? Last year's race winner, Air Bastianini, sadly sidelined, and the original king of COTA, a magnificent 7 wins here previously in cowboy country for Marc Marquez. He's still recuperating from that broken thumb he suffered in round 1 back in Portimao, a round 1 which was dominated by Pecco Bagnaia. Is round 3 here in Texas going the same way? Can he complete another dominant Italian job for Ducati? Part of the job accomplished, part of the mission accomplished yesterday with his brilliance in the sprint. LCR Honda, they look on anxiously to see if their man Alex Rins can repeat his excellence from the sprint yesterday. Different proposition this though, cooler conditions, twice the number of laps. The most mentally and physically demanding challenge of the season awaits the best in the world. It's full throttle, lights out, and we're underway here in Texas. A really good start with proposition again by Pecco Bagnaia. Will Rins get the drop on him though, up the hill into the first corner? Rins desperately trying to find a way through. He can't. Alex Espargaro got away well, but it's Pecco Bagnaia in position A. He leads into turn 2.
It really bunched up there in turn 1. Marco Bezzecchi was surrounded. The championship leader lost places. He'd made a good launch, but then he dropped back as we got 2 tangling at the back.
That's one of the Prima Pramac racing machines, isn't it? It's Alex Marquez, I think, as well. Is it Alex Marquez? I believe it is.
Like it.
Yeah, I think so. Alex Marquez, who dumped it in the sprint, having, believe it or not, vomited inside his helmet. How horrendous does that sound, crashing at turn number 12? Yeah, and Jorge Martin's gone down as well then, so 2 of the men who we thought were going to be big hitters in this full Grand Prix down. Is that Jack Miller, who's had a really strong first lap? It is Miller. He's up in the 4th place already. Rins attacks Bagnaia down the hill in the braking zone for turn number 11. That was so close, but he can't find a way through it now. This is Ducati territory, isn't it? Bagnaia will just wind up the gas, wind up the throttle of the 6th gear. What can Rins do to try and pick up some slipstream?
Luca Marini came through the first sector in 3rd. He's dropped behind both Miller and he's coming back at Quartararo. This is Quartararo braking super late. That's where he has to make up his time. Quartararo through Marini into 4th position.
Aleix Espargaro's gone down as well, so already on the first lap of this full Grand Prix here in Texas, we've lost Alex Marquez and Jorge Martin. That'll be reviewed after the race. And now Aleix Espargaro's gone down early on as well. Maybe a full fuel tank, a factor to consider there into turn number 12. So Aleix Espargaro was within touching distance of the podium in the sprint yesterday. He's gone down. Jorge Martin, who was one of our 3 men on the sprint podium, he's already out. I hope Alex Marquez is okay as well. It looked like he got pincered there between 2 of those crashed motorcycles. So early yellow flags out on this first lap. A dramatic start here in COTA, but it's been picture perfect already for Pecco Bagnaia. He got the start he wanted. He survived that onslaught, that attack coming down on the brakes from Alex Rins at turn number 11, and Bagnaia already into his stride, already after the first lap, nearly 6/10 of a second clear.
Well, KTM will be loving that, seeing Jack Miller up in 3rd place. Quartararo runs 4th, then the Muni VR46 Ducatis of Marini, Petzecchi, then Zarco 7th. Nightmare first lap for Aprilia. Aleix Espargaro on the floor, and Maverick Vinales down to 10th. The first Aprilia is actually Oliveira at the moment.
Let's try and find out what happened to Alex Marquez and Jorge Martin further down the field. Here they come through turn 3. Oh, dearie me. That just looked like it was a cold tie, wasn't it, for Jorge Martin? No warning whatsoever. The front just washing out from underneath him in the blink of an eye. Aleix Espargaro goes down then as well at turn 12. So unlucky. That was cruel, wasn't it? Wrong place, wrong time, to say the least, for Alex Marquez. That's a real nasty part of that circuit as well, turn 12. All weekend the riders have been saying you've got to be careful with the bumps and the low grip in turn 12. It catches out Aleix Espargaro. I'm hoping that Alex Marquez is going to be okay there, because it did look like he got trapped, didn't it, between the 2 crashed Ducatis. Let's hope he can hold away okay. Miller, though, has been the big star of the opening part of this Grand Prix, up 7 places, 10th to 3rd for the Aussie.
Tyre info is in, nice and simple. Every rider's out there on the hard front, soft rear combination, so there is no difference throughout this field in terms of their starting tyres. There is the incredible Jack Miller. What a start for him. His teammate Brad Binder, who started alongside him in 11th on the grid, he's only up a couple into 9th, so varying fortunes for the factory KTMs as we now look at the Muni VR46 Ducatis battling for 5th.
Alex Rins is fighting tooth and nail here, wringing the neck of that LCR Honda just to try and go with Pecco Bagnaia. The gap in the 3rd sector on this lap number 2 was down to half a second, so fair play to Alex Rins. He was able to pull back a couple of tenths in the first half of this lap. He closed it again into turn number 20. Time management will be a big factor in this Grand Prix, of course, over the full distance of 20 laps. We look further down the field at Fabio Quartararo, who comes over the line to start lap 3 in 4th place. Full respect here to Rins. He's just at the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Just under a 10th quicker than Bagnaia, 2:03.471. The advantage slips down to just over half a second, so Rins was a slightly quicker man on that second lap.
Rins' goal here will just be trying to keep Bagnaia in sight and try and keep some pressure on him for as long into this race as he can. It's a bit of an unknown quantity, as we heard from Lucio Cecchinello before the race. They know that Rins can stick around for 10 laps. They're not sure whether he can hang around there for 20, around what is a very physical racetrack. This first sector of the lap is where Alex Rins is so strong. His riding style suits it perfectly, and you can see him eating into the distance between himself and the race leader.
Quick check on the Aprilias that are left in this Grand Prix after Aleix Espargaro's first lap premature exit. Maverick Vinales is down in 10th place. He's got the tough task of trying to find a way through on one of the hardest breakers, the latest breakers in MotoGP. That's Brad Binder. That was a problem that Marco Bezzecchi couldn't solve in the sprint yesterday. Deja vu, wasn't it, in the sprint between him, those two, after Binder just picked Bezzecchi in the sprint in Argentina. Bagnaia then, hard on the front end of that Ducati GP23. By which he says has been tailor-made for his riding style. They found the edge grip he was missing last year. Not that he was missing that much. He still won the World Championship, of course, for Ducati, their first title success in 15 long years. Full credit down here to Alex Rins, who is digging deep. He's digging that deep. He might find oil very soon here in Texas. What's the gap? Yeah, he's found another 10th on this lap. Down to 4 tenths as we come through sector 3 on lap 3.
Sector 3 is where Bagnaia is able to just pull out that little bit of a margin. That Ducati, of course, punching out at turn 11 and carrying that speed all the way down that back straight into 12. You see Rins closing in. He's actually bringing Jack Miller along with him too on this lap. Miller is holding that sort of 8-10 gap to Rins at the start of this lap as Rins looks ahead at Bagnaia. He'll also have to keep a small eye on what's going on behind him with Miller, who sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on that KTM, a 2:03.306 for the Aussie.
The latest Spargo makes the walk of shame back into the factory in Aprilia garage. Yeah, Miller's found some really good early rhythm here, hasn't he, on that KTM? Really, really good. He was a tenth quicker, nearly 2 tenths quicker than Rins directly ahead of him. 3 tenths almost faster than Pecco Bagnaia as well. They snake and weave their way through this wonderful, breathtaking first sector. From the helicopter shot, there is Bagnaia then. He leads by, what, 3 or 4 bike lengths ahead of the hard-charging Alex Rins here. Alex Rins, you'd be forgiven for thinking this was Marc Marquez on top of that Honda, wouldn't you? Given Marquez's prowess around this COTA circuit, Bagnaia at the moment can't make that decisive breakaway. He'll be thinking about the bigger picture though, the tyre life towards the end of the Grand Prix.
Well, that Ducati is much more agile than in previous years, so it does give Bagnaia a fighting chance in that first sector of the lap. But you just know, from Alex Rins' point of view, he's got very little to lose there in second place. If he gets a sniff of an opportunity to send one up the inside of the world champion, you know he's going to go for it.
Just having a quick check on the gap between Quartararo and Miller. It's nearly 9 tenths of a second in the second split. So Jorge Martin, it's been a pretty, well, an up and down weekend to say the least. Mixed fortunes for him, climbing up his sick bed yesterday after being laid low by what sounded like a bout of flu, a real nasty fever, no energy whatsoever. Weak after just 2 laps on Friday. Salvaged a stunning 3rd in the sprint yesterday, but it's race over at turn 3 here today. The front going out from underneath him on that high-speed change of direction, probably just a cold front tyre, pushing too hard before he got tempted it, and the luckless Alex Marquez caught in that melee on the outside and then pincered, sandwiched in between the 2 crashed Ducatis. Let's hope Alex Marquez, he was able to hobble away. Let's hope there's no serious injury for the younger of the Marquez siblings. So Pecco Bagnaia getting the pit board. The instructions are pretty clear. He knows he's in P1, he knows he's got a game on here. He's got a race on here because Alex Rins again sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. A 2:03.126. And there is Rins again. He's able to close that braking zone at the hill into turn 1.
And then Gat Miller on that lap. Miller could only do a 2:03.5 last time around. Quartararo a couple of tenths slower than the KTM. So it's turning into a 2-way fight at the front of this Grand Prix at this very early stage. Lucio Cecchinello likes what he sees, seeing his rider chasing the race leader, Pecco Bagnaia. It's all about pressure really for Bagnaia. Can Rins force Bagnaia into a mistake? The longer this race goes on with Bagnaia in front, the more comfortable he will get. Rins will want to try and push Pecco into some sort of mistake. Unfortunately though for Rins, he's not quick enough at the right parts of the racetrack to launch an attack at this stage.
The question is, isn't it, or one of the big questions is how much is Rins having to work those tyres and work himself? This is an energy-sapping lap, an energy-sapping race around this COTA circuit. So many high-speed change of direction, so many hard braking zones. How much is he able to put through those tyres here to stay with Pecco Bagnaia? If there's one guy who we know is silky smooth, he's like butter on the throttle, a guy who's famous for keeping life in those tyres when he was on a Suzuki, it was Alex Rins. Can he repeat that kind of form here on the Honda? We'll find out in the next 25 minutes or so, as Jack Miller having a real strong ride there in 3rd place. He's starting actually to come back to Alex Rins on this lap number 5 is Miller. He had a fantastic second sector. He took 4 tenths of a second out of Rins in that second split on this lap number 5. Miller coming into contention as well for the win.
With every race that goes by every weekend, we're learning more and more about this KTM. KTM have never had a result higher than 8th here on their previous visits to Austin, Texas. This has not been a successful venue for the RC16, but Brad Binder spoke on Friday and said that that motorcycle in 2023 is so good on the brakes. He's got so much more confidence and ability on the brakes to brake even later. Jack Miller also taking full advantage of that at the moment. Miller, a personal best last time around. He was the quickest of the leading 3. He pulled a quarter of a second back on Rins, and he's now moved to within 1.2 seconds of your race leader.
This is magic by Miller. Let's not forget, this guy has crashed already 5 times so far here this weekend on the KTM. And he said it's not like he's had a terrible feeling on the RC16. He's been caught out a couple of times on cold tyres, on out laps, a couple of crashes in Q2 yesterday. He said the rain overnight on Friday had dramatically changed the track conditions. But for a rider that's going to be a little bit low on confidence, having had those 5 spills. This is brilliant by Miller. On that lap number 5, a 2:03.2. He's started to hone in here, isn't he, on Bagnaia and Rins ahead of him. Further back then, we're looking at this battle between Zarco, Vinales and Oliveira. That's for the back end of the top 10. Zarco over the line, he was 7th. That's where he is at the moment. Vinales 8th, Oliveira 9th. Expect a little bit more from Brad Binder. I just wondered, with Binder being in this group, whether he's having some front tyre pressure problems here, because he's not really made any significant progress forward from that 11th place on the grid.
So did Vinales get the start wrong again? We're watching him. He did go backwards a couple of places. There you can see again a poor launch. Not as bad as he got yesterday in the sprint, but still lost 3 or 4 places off the line and then got swamped into turn 1. So the start problems continue for Maverick Vinales, because he lost those 2 places on the first lap. And that was even with the Martin Marquez collision up ahead of it.
Alex Rins, look at this. Look at the corner speed of that Honda as well, as he came through that real tight first gear turn number 15. He could almost reach out and touch Pecco Bagnaia there. Here we are looking back again at the Vinales battle. He's got through Miguel Oliveira on the previous lap. Oh, Alex Rins, he was thinking about a move there, wasn't he? You could just see that Honda snaking around underneath him on the brakes, just as he was in the sprint yesterday. Working to the absolute maximum, pushing himself and that Honda to the absolute limit, squeezing every thousandth of a second out of his motorcycle, every ounce of performance out of himself here. An absolutely rumble here, isn't it, from Rins to keep the pressure on Bagnaia.
I said a couple of laps ago, if Alex Rins gets a sniff of an opportunity at leading this Grand Prix, he's going to go for it. He saw an opportunity, an example of it there, into turn 19. He was just too far back. But once again, this first sector, Alex Rins, so fast and flowing, so silky smooth, able to carry that corner speed on that Honda, and he's just eating into the distance between himself and Bagnaia. Bagnaia will want to try and have a bit more of a comfort zone in this. If he's managing at this stage of the Grand Prix and making sure that he has some time left at the end, it's a bit of a risky game with Rins so close up behind it.
Yellow flags are out in sector 2. Oh, Jack Miller's crashed. Oh no, Jack Miller has gone down. Jack Miller then, unfortunately, it's the double hat-trick. That is, can you believe it or not, crash number 6 for Jack Miller. He was starting to make big progress towards this lead too, but unfortunately Miller ends his weekend. It's been a very tough weekend, a sorry weekend for the Aussie. He punches the tyre wall there. Frustration in the extreme for Thriller Miller. The front just going out from underneath him there. So Jack Miller off the podium in the gravel trap. That has now pushed Fabio Quartararo, of course, up into 3rd place. Game on then now for Luca Marini here as well. His eyes will light up, because Marini all of a sudden now on the coattails of Quartararo, potentially on course now for his first ever Grand Prix podium in MotoGP.
And behind them is Marco Bezzecchi, who's not got the pace of his teammate in this Sunday afternoon feature-length 20-lap Grand Prix. Not at this stage anyway. Bezzecchi last time around was down in the 2:04s. Luca Marini was quicker than the leader on the last lap alone. So Marini zeroing in on Quartararo as Rins continues to shadow Bagnaia.
Exceptional performance this by Alex Rins is now. I mean, talk about rigging the neck of that Honda. Just for some context here, to give you an indication of the outstanding job that Rins is doing. Okay, yeah, we know he's a COTA circuit specialist, a Moto3, Moto2 and MotoGP winner here. If you drop back and look for the other Hondas, they're nowhere. Joan Mir's in 11th place, that's only because Jack Miller's just dumped it. Taki Nakagami 1 place further back in 12th place. Mir and Nakagami beset by chronic rear tyre problems. Every time they touch the throttle, they get massive wheel spin. Alex Rins, though, he's making work. Oh, Pecco Bagnaia has crashed again out of the lead. I can't believe what I am seeing. Davide Tardozzi sinks to his knees. Pecco Bagnaia, he crashed out of 2nd place to lose the World Championship lead in Termas 2 weeks ago. And under the relentless pressure from Rins, Pecco Bagnaia makes another monumental cock-up. I cannot believe it.
You said it, pressure, that was the key word. Turn 2, front end goes from Pecco Bagnaia. Rins asked the question. He kept Pecco Bagnaia interested, kept him on his toes, and the pressure did tell on lap 8 of this 20-lap Grand Prix. The champion, world champion, he won't be taking the championship lead this afternoon, and that is why.
Well, was the wind a factor there, or was he a little bit slightly offline, tipping into that super fast turn number 2? But in the space of, what, a minute, we've lost 2 men off the podium. Jack Miller goes down. penny for the thoughts of that young man right now than Pecco Bagnaia. What this means is then that now, out of absolutely nowhere, LCR Honda rider Alex Rins is the leader of this COTA Grand Prix. Astonishing drama here in COTA with Miller and Bagnaia crashing out a third and the lead respectively in quick succession. And Marco Bezzecchi, well, if he stays on board, he's going to continue his lead of the World Championship, isn't he? That's a big bonus for him because he gets bumped up to 4th place. He was 6th a couple of laps ago. This now a battle raging for 2nd, and Luca Marini with a gift from his VR46 Academy colleague Pecco Bagnaia now on course for that first Grand Prix podium in the Premier class.
Any thoughts of Lucio Cecchinello now? He hasn't seen his riders win a Grand Prix for 5 years since Cal Crutchlow in Argentina in 2018, and Alex Rins has now got a 2.3 second lead. Now all of a sudden that question about Alex Rins, can he physically keep this Honda in these top positions in the second half of the race? That's something that becomes an even more burning question. It's not a case of can he keep up with Bagnaia, it's can he keep this 2.3 second lead under control, because Quartararo is a known quantity. Of course, Yamaha have never won around this circuit. They might not get a better chance than this.
Honda were the only manufacturer that went winless in the 2022 World Championship campaign in MotoGP. These are now going to feel like some of the longest 12 laps of Lucio Cecchinello's Grand Prix career. He's been there, done it. He's seen everything, hasn't he, in the World Championships, both a rider and a team owner. But this is going to be potentially a momentous day here for Alex Rins. There is Pecco Bagnaia's fiancée, Demetria. She looks like us. Well, we can't believe it. We're still shell-shocked here in the commentary box. We thought all of the Bagnaia blunders were behind him after he went 91 points behind Fabio Quartararo after that string of DNFs in 2022. He still won the World Championship with one of the greatest comebacks in history, but twice in the space of 2 weeks he's crashed out. He has blown 45 points in those 2 Grand Prix. He was second, looked like a safe second in the rain conditions in Argentina when he crashed out behind Marco Bezzecchi. And leading here, he was leading under intense pressure from Alex Rins, credit to him, but Bagnaia blunders again.
Yellows are out again in the 3rd sector, so someone else has had an adventure. Joan Mir now has gone down, so as one Honda leads the Grand Prix, former Suzuki rider, of course, on board it, the other one has gone down. That's Mir out of 10th place.
I'd just love to hear the thoughts if it stays as is, Rins, Quartararo and Marini, because I'm sure they're just as stunned as everybody else when they saw Bagnaia crash out at that turn 2. The pit board message to Alex Rins then is clear. He will see he has an advantage with 11 laps to go here in COTA of 2.1 seconds from Fabio Quartararo. Pecco Bagnaia, this is going to be a very disconsolate trudge back into the factory Ducati garage. How does he explain this one? He said after the crash in Termas, he didn't understand why he crashed. That was the most baffling aspect of it. And here he goes again. This, unfortunately, has been the story in so many times of Pecco Bagnaia's MotoGP career. He tipped it into turn number 2 at high speed. Down he goes. The inquest will now start. He sort of just plonks dejectedly into that scene of the Ducati garage. Gigi Dall'Igna on his knees, about to start asking the big questions. Davide Tardozzi, we saw him drop to his knees when Bagnaia disappeared in the cloud of dust at turn 2. I still can't believe it, Lewis. I'm still utterly shocked, in disbelief, that he made another massive mistake.
Especially given how much of an advantage he realised he had yesterday in the sprint. You can only put it down to either conditions or perhaps the pressure of Alex Rins that just kept Pecco Bagnaia in a position where he had to keep pushing. He couldn't afford to just ease off and take a comfortable victory. So Alex Rins deserves credit for keeping that pressure on, and he's been rewarded with it now with a 2.3 second lead. Quartararo was a 10th quicker than Alex Rins last time around, but Pecco Bagnaia, a face of thunder, that face tells the whole story.
And when I say I don't believe it, of course I know he's a bit of a notorious crasher in MotoGP at times in big pressure situations. What I meant was, we thought that was all behind him in 2023. We thought this was a different rider, a rider who'd learned some of the hard lessons from 2022. Clearly, as we mentioned in Termas, old habits do die hard. This would be a tough one to swallow, won't it? Because as we mentioned, he was such a big favourite to do the double again. But twice then in 2 races, Bagnaia has shocking Sundays. The fans are cheering on Alex Rins. Again, 2.1 seconds he leads over Fabio Quartararo. Quartararo just cannot get that advantage under 2 seconds. He's pushing himself and that Yamaha to the absolute extreme limit because he can't relax in that second place because he's got Luca Marini for company as well.
Yeah, Luca Marini eyeing up a first MotoGP podium. Of course, he could get better than that later on in the race. His teammate Marco Bezzecchi, who's going to retain the lead of the World Championship, he's just done his personal best lap of the Grand Prix last time around at 2:03.603, and he kind of needs to because Maverick Vinales is closing in. Vinales has got to the front now of this group. He's gone past Johan Zarco, and he's closing in now on Marco Bezzecchi. As Oliveira, a beautiful move on Johan Zarco. Oliveira once again showing his class. He's up into the top 6.
Yeah, that was beautiful, wasn't it, there by Pecco Oliveira.
15th on the grid, don't forget.
Yeah, Brad Binder. There's been a few riders go down in front of him, of course, in particular Alexis Spargaro, Pecco Bagnaia and Jack Miller, but you've got to be in it to win it, haven't you? This is the good right. Zarco struggling at this phase of the Grand Prix now. He's been picked off as well now by Brad Binder, who's maybe starting to launch a second half charge in this Grand Prix. There's still a long, long way to go here. We've already lost some big, big names. Mia, Bagnaia from the lead, Miller from third. Oh, Binder got it hot. Binder got it really hot there in turn number 12. He had to back out of that one, otherwise he was going to be wiping out his former KTM teammate, Oliveira. Much one up to Ralph Fernandez. He entered the pits and retired. Alexis Spargaro, Alex Marquez and Jorge Martin, of course, well, they were all first lap exits. So there's still... Oh, somebody else has gone down as well. Yeah, who is that?
Oh, that's bad as Binder.
That is Binder. So Red Bull KTM's awful day just goes from bad to worse. Well, he made the mistake, didn't he, at turn 12, almost running into the back of Miguel Oliveira, and having regrouped just a couple of corners later, Brad Binder is chewing gravel as well. So the attrition rate here is sky high, isn't it, in this 20-lap Circuit of the Americas battle. Jonas Folger right now is going to be on course for points with Binder's exit now.
We're down to 14 runners now in this Grand Prix, and it's moments like that which is why you cannot take your eyes off this Grand Prix as Brad Binder gets back on, clearly realising that there are points on offer if he gets that KTM to the finish, although he might want to pull into the pits first. Of course, he made a mistake 3 corners before this when he ran on at turn 12, and he never even made it to the apex of turn 15 before the front end washed away. And as I say, it's moments like that which is why LCR Honda will be on the edge of their seats. They've lost Nakagami now. He's out of the Grand Prix. So Alex Rins certainly has to keep his eye on the ball here. His lead is down now to under 2 seconds.
Into turn 1, then Nakagami in the front just going rapidly underneath him. This is a race of survival, isn't it, here in COTA? Who can rein and beat the conditions and the deteriorating grip levels? The yellow flags are out, of course, for the Nakagami incident. So the 2 regulars alongside Alex Rins on Hondas this weekend, Joan Mir and Taka Nakagami, they are both down and out. The way it's going, Jonas Folger on his first MotoGP race since Aragon 2017, he might be in the top 10 at this rate. Marini begging that Ducati to stop going into turn number 12 as he starts to reel in Fabio Quartararo.
Well, speaking of the top 10, there are some surprising names in there at the moment. Behind the battle that you saw for 4th between Bezzecchi, Vinales, Oliveira and Zarco, we've got Frankie Morbidelli running 8th, Fabio Di Giannantonio 9th, and Augusto Fernandez, who's the leading KTM on the circuit at the moment. Of course, the 2 factory riders have crashed. The rookie at the moment, while all the chaos is going on around him, Augusto Fernandez is keeping his head, and he's running in the top 10.
We saw there a very pensive-looking new HRC technical director, Ken Kawauchi. He's already worked in tandem to take victories with Alex Rins numerous times in the factory Suzuki team. That pairing working wonders again here, though, in COTA, as Alex Rins completes lap number 12 here. His lead now just dips under 2 seconds. Quartararo 1.9 seconds further back. I've got to say, Quartararo's riding absolutely brilliantly here to keep Luca Marini behind him, as he is doing with the top speed advantage, the acceleration advantage that Marini will have on an albeit year-old Ducati. This has been a stellar ride again by Fabio Quartararo. Overriding, he said, all season on that Yamaha. He's been demanding more radical changes in the future from the M1, but he is absolutely wringing the neck off that M1 right now and hanging on to 2nd place.
Yeah, he knows that if he drops behind Luca Marini, that might well be the end of his hopes of finishing in 2nd or higher in this Grand Prix. Of course, he's not going to bike ahead of him at the moment, accelerating away from him on the straights, or stopping him from taking his lines, or carrying the corner speed that he wants to on that Yamaha. This is where the Yamaha works so well, when it's got no one directly ahead of it, but Quartararo under intense pressure from Luca Marini, who was more than happy with a third, of course. He would be his first feature-length podium, but he wants second.
Oh, look at this by Marini. There was the clearest indication, not that we needed it, the massive speed differential between the Yamaha and the Ducati. As soon as Luca Marini clicked the turbo button, got that Duke into 6th gear, well, it was like shelling peas. It was like taking candy off a kid, wasn't it? Fabio Quartararo could just do absolutely nothing about that. Marini never even needed the slipstream. He was a good 10 or dozen bike lengths behind Quartararo as they got on the power coming out of turn number 11. But Fabio Quartararo, it was like he was on a Moto2 bike there. That was almost embarrassing for Yamaha. The differential there between Quartararo and Marini, absolutely powerless was Fabio Quartararo. Nothing he could do about that.
Well, if you're LCR Honda, you're putting a pit board out pronto to Alex Rins and telling him what's just gone on, because already on this lap, the lead is down to 1.6 seconds. Of course, Luca Marini got an enormous slingshot, not that he really needed it, down that back straight, but Rins might have problems now. His lead is down to 1.7 seconds. Rins did a 2:04.2, Luca Marini a 2:03.8. The battle for the victory is not over yet.
Now, Quartararo has ridden an inch-perfect race. He's nailed every braking marker, he's nailed every acceleration point to try and keep Marini behind him. There's nothing he can do. Yeah, here comes the pit board. Then they have seen, in a blink of an eye, Marini already started to make big inroads into what looked like a pretty healthy 2-second lead for Alex Rins. It's down to 1.7 seconds over the line. We'll check them through the first sector now. In fact, Rins has responded immediately. Straight away, he's able to retaliate. 0.2 of a second he gains on Marini in that first sector, where Rins is so good. Not an easy motorcycle, the Honda, to wrestle through that first sector. Certainly more physically demanding on his upper body than the Suzuki was on the last few years, but he's making it work. It's in his hands. He knows that. Can he protect that lead that's up to nearly 2 seconds?
Yeah, the telling parts of the racetrack will be parts like this. Alex Rins braking from 214 miles an hour over 340 clicks down that back straight to turn 12. It's sector 3, of course, where Ducati have that free lap time, and Luca Marini is able to zero in and pull that gap back. But in the second sector, the lead back over 2 seconds for Rins.
Simon, down to you. This looks like at the moment is a race of survival out there.
I completely agree. And the early laps, when we lost a couple of riders, I thought the different feel after the Moto 3 and 2 races, you know, out there, and these guys go out to push hard on the early laps, fall. But as it went on, more and more attrition, it looks like it's been a very difficult day to manage the front tyre. And maybe the team managers and owners were talking about getting that tyre pressure right. It looks to me that they've gone a little bit high because of that cold wind, and a few riders out there with too high front pressure, and that's why they've got no front grip. I mean, talking about 8 riders losing the front. One other thing, Fabio is going to have a tough time having to follow that Ducati. He's much better off out with clear air in front of him for 2 reasons. To use the Yamaha line, the V4 Ducati stop-start upsets his lines, but second thing is he's got no clean air on his front tyre, and he's in more danger of losing the front.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. Great observations, as always. Back with our leading trio, then on the helicopter shot through the snaking first sector. Alex Rins is keeping that gap around 1.92 seconds back to Luca Marini. Fabio Quartararo was a 2:04.258 on that last lap. I don't think he's going to take the big risk now, is he, to maybe hunt down Luca Marini, try and get that first podium of the season. He's got a massive gap back to Maverick Vinales, who's wrestled his way up to 4th place. It was a good lap 14 for Vinales because he got through on Bezzecchi.
Rins has got the message here. Look at that gap in the first sector where Rins is so good. He's up to 2.5 seconds now over Luca Marini. So again, now it's a test of Alex Rins' concentration. He got the message. He found out that it was now Marini that was chasing him and not Quartararo, and he immediately dropped back into the mid 2:03s. A 2:03.610 last time around. He's got 5.5 laps remaining to try and keep his concentration and claim what would be a 4th win in all classes at the Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, of course, he finished Suzuki's farewell season in MotoGP last year in stunning fashion. 2 wins in the last 3 races. He won the race of the season last year in Phillip Island. An absolute barnstormer, didn't he? Marini then, he's already putting a big gap between himself and Fabio Quartararo in 3rd place. When was Honda's last win? Marc Marquez in Misano in 2021, was it? A long time ago. These have been the bleakest and most barren times of Honda's illustrious and distinguished career in the Premier Classic Grand Prix racing. But some of that hurt will be eased, some of that pain will be eased if Alex Rins can continue to get that job done here now. He has got 5 laps to go here in COTA. He has an advantage of 2.6 seconds. That looks like it was the key lap of this Grand Prix. Rins may have broken Marini and Quartararo on that lap 15. It was a 2:03.514, exactly 6/10 clear Marini and Quartararo. Fair play to Quartararo and Marini. They set the exact same lap time on lap 15, a 2:04.112, the exact same lap time around a 5.5 kilometre 20 corner circuit. Top job by those boys.
And as mentioned earlier on, as you pointed out, Alex Rins looking to secure Honda's first win for around 18 months. He's looking to become the first Honda rider not named Marc Marquez to win since 2018, Cal Crutchlow's win in Argentina. He has got the message, he's got the hurry up, and this man, Luca Marini, at the moment does not have an answer to him. Luca Marini, 2nd place, would still be a career best for him, either in a full-length race or in a sprint. A first Sunday podium beckons for Luca Marini. His teammate, though, is going the other way. Marco Bezzecchi is down in the 2:04s. He's now been overtaken by Vinales and Oliveira. He's lost contact with them, and he's now in a battle with Johan Zarco for 6th and 7th. Crucial points still to be picked up for Bezzecchi.
Whatever size boots Maverick Vinales takes, he'll be giving himself a kick up the backside again because he's been undone by another poor start. On that last lap, Maverick Vinales was ever so slightly slower than your race leader Alex Rins, who we know got the hammer down because he took 6/10 of a second out of Marini and Quartararo. Vinales, 2:03.5, he's doing mid to high 2:03s to fun himself as well, but of course his podium home is pretty much evaporated with another very bang average start off the line. 4th place for Vinales, nearly 6/10 of a second clear of Oliveira.
Yeah, so Bezzecchi and Zarco just behind that pair of Aprilias. Zarco is comfortably clear of Frankie Morbidelli. He's in a very lonely 8th at the moment on the 2nd of the factory Yamahas. Gian Antonio, Fernandez, Bradl and Pirro are all in a close battle at the moment for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. Folger is on target for points, as Matt mentioned earlier on in 13th. Brad Binder is still circulating. He's running in 14th place, so points on the way for him. As Marini now responds, he does now a mid 2:03, a 2:03.514 to pull 4/10 back on Alex Rins. If Rins can keep that consistent mid to high 2:03s, he should be okay, but Marini is keeping the pace on and keeping the pressure on.
I don't want to jinx Alex Rins, but so far he's just looked so good. I mean, he was riding his heart out, wasn't he, at the early part of the Grand Prix to keep the pressure on Bagnaia, the pressure that eventually saw Bagnaia buckle. He hasn't looked like making a single mistake, this guy. We know he's one of the sort of cleanest riding styles, so smooth. I think if you talk to anybody that's trying to show a young up-and-coming rider one of the cleanest and smoothest riding styles in MotoGP, well, you just show them photos and videos of Alex Rins, don't you? On board then, sound up with Fabio Quartararo. It looks like he will claim his first podium finish of the 2023 season. He's got nothing late on here for Luca Marini. No sense in taking the big risk, is it, to try and hunt down Marini. We can just see there as well at the top of your picture, Alex Rins. Well, we just stayed quiet there for a few moments to let you, the fans, enjoy that lap with Fabio Quartararo. hope you did crank the volume up here in the live music capital of the world, because it was great to hear Fabio Quartararo pushing that Yamaha, wasn't it, to his absolute limit. It looks like it's going to be a rock-solid third place for him. Maverick Vinales, his late race but speed here is quite sensational. Vinales was just set on 17-lap-old tyres, his best lap of the Grand Prix. We're on board then now with Vinales as he snakes his way through the first sector. A 2:03.471 from Vinales. He's going to be happy with fourth, Lewis, but absolutely frustrated yet again because the start has cost him big time again.
He went backwards off the line in both races this weekend. He lost 2 on the first lap, and that was even with 2 riders. In fact, we lost 3, didn't we, on the first lap, with Aleix Espargaro going down as well. So an afternoon where Maverick Vinales will be pleased with the 13 points, assuming he holds off Miguel Oliveira, of course, but really will feel that a podium was possible had he got off the line.
2.5 laps to go then here in Austin, Texas. Alex Rins looks like he's in the comfort zone, if there is one, in MotoGP when you're leading a Grand Prix, but he's got a great opportunity here now to put Lucio Cecchinello's LCR Honda team back on the top step of the podium. He's just about able to watch the big screens, isn't he? Simon, you got some thoughts on our current race leader?
Yeah, you said how Alex has been riding his heart out, and I totally agree. Before Bagnaia fell, I was watching closely to see where they were faster, where they were slower. He was losing, Alex was losing, I calculate roughly 40 meters a lap only in the acceleration area, and he was making that back every lap. Can you imagine trying to make that back on Bagnaia? It was, I think, an awesome effort.
Yeah, it really has. Here, Simon, could not agree more. It's been an awesome effort. There's still a bit of work to do, though, for Alex Rins to tie up his 18th career victory in Grand Prix racing. It will be his 6th in MotoGP. We're getting a replay here of Fabio Quartararo trying to make that Yamaha stop down into turn number 12. He gets that little bit hot. Thankfully for him, though, he's well clear of Maverick Vinales in 4th place. So I don't think his 3rd place will come under any serious threat, despite the late barrage in lap times from Vinales through the first sector. 2 to go then here, and it's Rins, the runaway leader here in COTA. Crisis for Honda, what crisis?
They look like they're going to end that barren winning run. Don't ever say that MotoGP is predictable. We thought we were coming into this Sunday afternoon expecting Pecco Bagnaia to waltz away at the front of the Grand Prix. That's not how it's panned out with that crash earlier on in the race, and what we're on target for, with a lap and a half to go on the Sunday afternoon feature-length Grand Prix. We're on target for 8 different riders on the podium out of the 9 podium finishes on offer so far. Only Marco Bezzecchi has repeated it so far, and he's not going to be repeating that today.
You can see, can't you, while there's a little bit of apprehension as they look at the big screens from the senior Honda management, the senior Honda technicians, because it's been a long, long time since they've been in this position. Of course, Honda for so many years used to ride roughshod over every manufacturer in the MotoGP World Championship. They've been so dominant. The LCR Honda crew can barely watch the screens there. It's Dakota Momola, who's so an integral part of the LCR Honda crew now, of course, son of American legend Randy Momola. There is going to be 1 lap to go very, very shortly for Lucio Cecchinello. He can't have any fingernails left, surely can he, on the pit wall as we follow Alex Rins sweeping through turn 18. 2 corners left to go, 2 laps to go here for Alex Rins. 21 corners left, just over 5.5 kilometres. Yellow flags are back out in the 3rd sector, but Alex Rins, no drama for him. Calm, serene, Lucio Cecchinello follows his man over the line as Alex Rins stands on the brink of one of the best victories of his Grand Prix career.
The yellow flags are out for Stefan Bradl, who's crashed out in that 3rd sector. So at the moment, Alex Rins, of course, he's the sole Honda really fighting it out at the front of this Grand Prix. We lost, of course, Stefan Bradl. We lost Taka Nakagami earlier on in the Grand Prix, and Tranmere also out of this Grand Prix. But Honda hanging their hopes on Alex Rins, and at the moment, he's around 3/4 of a lap away from returning them to the top of a MotoGP podium.
Well, he's been the sheriff of the town in COTA before, back in 2019, when he broke Valentino Rossi fans' hearts with a stunning late victory. It looks like he's going to be wearing the sheriff's badge. The sheriff back in town here in Austin. Rins drops down the hill into turn number 11. He's nearly 3 seconds clear. He is now 3.2 seconds clear of Luca Marini. He is locked in for a safe 2nd place. Alex Rins, when he was out with his team for dinner on Thursday here in Austin, made a bet with one of his technicians that he'd shave their head if he got into the top 10 in Q2. He's going to be shaving the heads of everybody in that LCR team, isn't he, before we get to Jerez, because this has been brilliant by Alex Rins. He now comes into the third sector on the final lap. He punished that mistake from Pecco Bagnaia. They're all now on their feet in LCR Honda, coming to the pit wall to celebrate a stunning victory here for Alex Rins. Through turn 15 he comes, he looks at the big screen, 4 corners remaining.
Yeah, Marini nowhere near in with a chance of closing in. Marini has settled for that safe second place. Quartararo running third, and Vinales has pulled clear of Oliveira. The celebrations are 2 corners away for LCR Honda.
Alex Rins will be back on the top step of the podium for the first time on a Honda. Honda's wretched winless streak in MotoGP is about to come to a triumphant end. Rins wins the Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas. What a ride by the LCR Honda man. They take their first victory in 5 long years. Jubilant scenes for Lucio Cecchinello's squad. Absolutely awesome performance. What a weekend for Alex Rins. Second in the sprint. He's our COTA Grand Prix winner here. He celebrates with Fabio Quartararo, who takes the final place on the podium. Huge congratulations. What a season it's been for Muni VR46 Racing, with Luca Marini taking his first Grand Prix podium in MotoGP. He takes second. Maverick Vinales, stunning late pace from him, is fourth. Oliveira takes a brilliant fifth for Arena Aprilia. Marco Bezzecchi keeps the World Championship lead with a hard-fought 6th place. Sarko Morbidelli, the Gian Antonio and Augusto Fernandez complete the top 10 in a race that was full of tension. It was full of drama. Pecco Bagnaia crashed out of the lead. Jack Miller crashed out of 3rd place. Big name casualties as well with Joan Mir. We saw Aleix Espargaro out in the first lap. Jorge Martin and Alex Marquez down on lap 1 as well. But Alex Rins is back on top here in COTA. Absolutely brilliant performance by him. It's his 18th career victory. He'd have had to have worked hard for that one. Absolutely brilliant. That is now in full-length racing. Grand Prix races here in COTA. His 6th podium in 9 races here in Austin, Texas. I think it's fair to say he loves COTA and we love Alex Rins. Great show.
If Marc Marquez is the king of COTA, Alex Rins is certainly the heir to the throne. What a record he's got here. And of course, if you go back to last season in feature-length Sunday Grand Prix, that's now, what, the 3rd win in the last 6 races for Alex Rins. The talent has never been in doubt. I think we all questioned whether he would be able to replicate those incredible victories of late last year for Suzuki on board that Honda, but he has turned doubters into believers this afternoon. What a performance, what a weekend for Alex Rins. Job done in a sense for Marco Bezzecchi. He said yesterday after the sprint the best he could hope for was a top 5 probably today. He missed out just in 6th, but with Pecco Bagnaia crashing out of the lead, Bezzecchi does extend his World Championship lead to 11 points.
Well, you just run out of superlatives, don't you, to describe the performance of that young man in that 20-lap Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas. Because that was a tough one. That was brutal on the tyres, wasn't it? A race of survival, as we said. Pecco Bagnaia succumbed to the pressure. Jack Miller went down when he looked locked in for a really strong 3rd place on the factory KTM. Just 13 finishes. Brad Binder was quite right to remount his damaged KTM because he takes 13 points. The first Honda rider other than Marc Marquez to win a MotoGP race is Cal Crutchlow. Great stat that Lewis pointed out in the Grand Prix. They've had to wait a long time, haven't they, LCR Honda, but it will all feel like it's worth the wait. 5 years of tough times forgotten in 41 minutes or so, because that was just awesome. The American fans appreciated that. We were denied a battle at the front between Bagnaia and Rins after Bagnaia went down in a hard crash at turn 2. 2 crash in the first 3 Grand Prix for the reigning world champion. That did not go to script at all, did it, for Ducati? But it's a first Grand Prix MotoGP podium for Luca Marini. As you mentioned, what a start it's been for Valentino Rossi's new team. These were the results that he expected. Race winners already this year with Marco Bezzecchi. Now it's a sprint podium and a Grand Prix podium in 2023 for Luca Marini.
And what a fine performance from Fabio Quartararo, squeezing every last drop out of that Yamaha M1. A first podium of the season for him. That will go some way to putting a smile back on his face after what has been a pretty miserable start to 2023. Quartararo on the podium, a podium that will be topped once again by Alex Rins, who lifts himself to third in the World Championship. Who would have imagined when we'd return to Europe for the Spanish Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time that Alex Rins would be third in the World Championship with only 17 points off the lead.
He comes into pit lane, he comes into Parc Ferme with the big fist pump. Congratulations, Alex Rins, and to LCR Honda. Special moments, just his third appearance for HRC. What a gift it was when Suzuki pulled out for Honda to land top quality riders like Alex Rins and Joan Mir. There's going to be the mother of all parties in downtown Austin if you're connected to LCR Honda, that's for sure. LCR, what a moment for the team as well. Their 100th podium for LCR Honda. No wonder Lucio Cecchinello's absolutely buzzing. Brilliant scenes. They've had some dark times as Honda's independent team. They've suffered more than ever with Honda's recent slump. But they are back on the top step. Marco Bezzecchi protects his World Championship lead then, largely thanks to Bagnaia's big mistake at turn 2 in the early part of the race. There's Carmelo Espeleta, the Dorna CEO. Lucio Cecchinello, it's fair to say, he's the Grand Prix stalwart. He's been connected with MotoGP. He's run his own team, of course, since 2006, when he gave a break to a certain young Australian by the name of Casey Stoner in the Premier class. And after all these years, the passion, despite the bad results, has not dimmed, it has not diminished, and it's all for great, memorable days like this. Could not be happier for Alex Rins and everybody connected with the LCR Honda team.
Handshakes in the Aprilia box for Maverick Vinales as he now shares a word with his crew chief, Mano Kazao. The questions that will be going on in there once again will be, what on earth happened at that start, Maverick? He finished in the end 8.3 seconds off the winner, 3.5 off the podium, and all of that was really lost on the very first lap. The podium Stetsons are being sported, and Luca Marini, a first full-length MotoGP podium. It must have stung to see his teammate Marco Bezzecchi taking all of the plaudits and all of the spotlight in Argentina 2 weeks ago. But from a Munipar 46 point of view, and of course from a Ducati point of view, they've got Luca Marini to thank for extending their podium streak.
Congratulations as well to Fabio Quartararo, because he had to work really hard around the rodeo, didn't he, for that third place. He kept Luca Marini at bay until those final laps and settled for third place. Good to see him back on the podium, his first since the Malaysian Grand Prix in Sepang last October, where of course he kept his faint world title hopes alive on that day. He would have seen all the drama ahead of him. He'd have seen Miller go down out of third place. He'd have seen Bagnaia crash out of first. 13 finishes in what was a really demanding and challenging Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas. Fabio Di Gianantonio back inside the top 10. Well, let's hear the thoughts of Fabio Quartararo, third here in COTA with Simon.
Fabio, it looked like you did everything you could. It looked like a difficult race to manage because many didn't. Please give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it was really tough. I mean, you know, I was struggling basically on top speed and acceleration, but you know, I had to fight hard the first laps because I knew if I was back in position in the first laps, the podium was not possible. So I did my best, and I'm really happy because, you know, I'm coming from really tough races, and yeah, you know, with the team we work so hard, you know, they try to keep me calm, and it's not an easy job, but yeah, it feels good to be back on the Parc Ferme, and hopefully many more coming.
Great job, Fabio.
Yeah, that was a top ride, wasn't it, by Fabio Quartararo. Really had to dig deep for that one. We know that the Yamaha is not on the level of the Ducatis, but he never gives up, never say die. And he was there to pick up the piece of some key mistakes directly ahead of him. So much to pick the bones out of that Circuit of the Americas clash here today. Luca Marini will be coming to speak to Simon very shortly. Here he is right now. Luca Marini, his first Grand Prix podium in MotoGP in Parc Ferme with Simon.
Luca, what a great ride. You're You're on the podium, and you kept the pressure on Alex all the way to the last couple of laps. Please tell us about it.
I was careful at the beginning in the start because I don't want to make a mistake. In fact, Jack overtook me very aggressive, but he was smart. And then also Fabio that started very, very well. Then I know that I had a good pace, I was strong here, so I never thought that the victory was lost. And after the crash of Pecco, I knew that Alex would manage a little bit more. So I tried to overtake Fabio and catch Alex, but in this track he is riding very well. Every year he's so strong, and also this year with Honda, that is the best bike maybe here that won many times. It was impossible to beat, but really satisfied about my result, my pace, my race was massive, very, very impressive. This is also a good result for the team, for my guys, for my crew, because they are working very well. I'm very happy and satisfied about the work that we have done this year. It's fantastic to work with them, and that's it.
Big congratulations.
Ciao.
Yeah, great ride that by Luca Marini. So easy in those demanding conditions with the wind as well and the front tyre problems that so many riders had to make a mistake, but he kept his cool, and the outcome is his best result in the MotoGP World Championship in a Grand Prix. That's what it means to Pablo Nieto. What a start it has been for the Mini VR46 racing team. They extend their lead at the top of the team championship. And Marco Bezzecchi still sitting pretty at the top of the rider standings as well after a very hard-fought 6th place for Bears, a 5th in the sprint, 6th in the main race. But today is only about one man and one team. LCR Honda's Alex Rins, the winner here in COTA with Simon.
Alex, you rode phenomenal yesterday and phenomenal again today. Please tell us about your race.
Thank you. It's difficult to say because I was trying to push a lot with Pecco. I was struggling a little bit on the sector 2, sector 3, but then in the chicanes I was pushing so much to catch him. And you know, I'm very happy because we get the victory with Moto 3, Moto 2, Suzuki, and then Honda. So this is impressive. I'm so happy. The team, I'm so proud of him, of my team, of my personal team also, and all to you guys that come here to celebrate.
Incredible ride, Alex. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I think it's fair to say that Alex Rins quite likes racing at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. He's been here before, but this will feel super, super sweet. A first-time win for him on the Honda as he crosses the line. Just look what it means to Alex Rins and the LCR Honda team. Some of that crew have been with Lucio Cetinello right from the start, back in 2006 when they first joined MotoGP. Sweet, sweet moments. Grande Lucio, grazie Lucio. If he doesn't wake up with the biggest headache in the world tomorrow, Lucio Cetinello, I'm going to be very, very disappointed.
And in some ways, history repeating itself. Remember the last time Alex Rins won here in MotoGP, it was Valentino Rossi who chased him home in 2nd place. And this time, Valentino Rossi's half-brother Luca follows him across the line in 2nd place. And Fabio Quartararo, a much-needed podium for him. 3 very happy men about to step onto the podium. There's Ken Kawauchi, who's followed Alex Rins, of course, from Suzuki over to the Honda camp. And I don't think they would have ever imagined that they'll be already celebrating a victory together by the time we left Austin, Texas, and round 3 of the season.
If there's one man who fully understands the quality and the class of Alex Rins, it will be Ken Kawauchi. They formed a very close bond together in their spell at Suzuki. Absolutely brilliant performance by Alex Rins. Throughout the entire weekend, it was a great effort for him to get straight into Q2 on Friday, wasn't it? When he was third fastest at P2, 2nd on the grid, 2nd in the sprint. We begged the question, didn't we? We posed the question pre-race, could he go one better in the main Grand Prix? Well, he certainly could. Great scenes for Alex Rins and LCR Honda. When all said and done, I think Marco Bezzecchi, after a pretty tough ride in Lewis, if you'd have offered him top 6s in the sprint and the main race and keeping his World Championship lead, he would have said, thank you very much, I'll take that.
Extending his World Championship lead up a point to 10, as we hear from the top 3.
Sì, lo so. Poi ti do una bella scia io.
Quando era Marco, Martin.
Ah no, è impressionante, loro
Anche a te sicuramente ti fanno così.
Anche Nea.
Quando si è caduto Pecco, avevo paura che voi arrivate, perché alla fine Pecco mi stava portando a me.
Ah, era più facile.
Era più facile, sai, io li recuperavo tanto il chicane,
Sì.
andando così.
Ah, perché la nostra moto pesa lì.
Sì, questo un po' anche.
Sì?
Sì. Ma dopo quando è caduto ho fatto un paio di errori e
Ho visto,
pensavo
è andato lungo un po' di volte.
Sì. Un momento, penso che a 2-3 ho fatto 1-9.
Sì, che mi do lungo
Infatti lui ha iniziato a sbagliare, te ci credevi di andarlo a prendere e io dicevo vai andiamo a prenderlo e poi dopo niente. Dove fai la differenza? Dove che vai più forte? Qua.
Io penso che...
Perché entri forte?
Ma settore 2 va molto veloce lui.
Settore 2.
Sì, todas las chicanes, tío.
Sí, pero 9, 8, 9, 10,
Ya.
vas muy rápido.
Sì, può essere.
Col freno trasero prima della 10?
No, non tanto perché sennò cado.
Ah,
Sennò...
Cioè,
Ah, quindi un po' col gas in slide un po'?
Más o menos. Sí, eres peor que tu hermano, tío. Dale. No, non so.
So we have a very happy top three here in COTA, with good reason as well, because they all had to work very, very hard for their chance to stand in front of the American fans and soak up the post-race scenes on what's always a special podium here at the Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas. For once, we can say some very happy Honda senior management as well. Sonichi Kikubu, Ken Kawauchi sharing a bit of a laugh and a joke, and I'll have to say with these moments then as we get set for our COTA podium here in Austin.
Honda up to second place in the Constructors' Championship with that. You'd have got long odds on that at this stage of the season. That's the embrace between Lucio Cecchinello and Alex Rins. Marvin Mustin, who's getting ready to take part in the podium ceremony, and no one else but Lucio takes a bow on the podium. If anyone was going to receive the winning constructor prize today, it had to be him. A 100th podium, of course, for the LCR Honda team. The LCR team across all classes, of course, they've been successful throughout the years of MotoGP, of the lower classes, MotoE, of course, in recent times as well. Quartararo, his first podium of the season. Podium number 34 in his Grand Prix career, number 30 in MotoGP, number 1 for Luca Marini. But what a victory for Alex Rins. Victory number 6 in the MotoGP class for him, of course. The previous 5 all came on board of Suzuki. He now adds Honda to that list as he wins for 2 different manufacturers. The natural talent on display once again. Bilbo, who we heard from on the grid, comedian and celebrity. He hands over the winning trophy to Lucio Cecchinello. Fabio Quartararo, this is going to be one sweet podium for him, particularly how the sprint ended yesterday. Marvin Mustin, Supercross start, hands the trophy, and there's an element of relief in that face for Fabio Quartararo. Once a champion, always a champion, and he rode like one this afternoon. You can hear the cheers below from Mooney BR46. Luca Marini officially on the podium in a Sunday Grand Prix in MotoGP, adding to his bronze medal from the sprint in Argentina and the iconic trophy presented here at the Circuit of the Americas goes to the winner, Alex Rins. A second victory from his last 4 visits here in MotoGP to Austin. Rins reigns supreme here at the Circuit of the Americas.
Wonderful scenes here then under the podium at the Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas. It's time to pop the Prosecco So the special ticker tape celebration completes our podium ceremony here in COTA. The tail of the tape was pure brilliance, wasn't it? From Alex Rins. It looks like there's going to be some souvenirs launched into the crowd here. Who's going to catch the Fabio Quartararo Alpine Stars? But you have to have a pretty decent throw in you here. There he goes into the into pit lane he goes. Yeah, well, he's happy. High five for that man. Alex Rins does the shoey. Not quite sure how the sweat and the Prosecco is a mix. I'm not sure it's a cocktail that many of us will be willing to take. But here we go, in goes the Rins boot as well. Was that caught by one of the track stewards who put in such great work, of course, volunteering here this weekend. Knee sliders are going now. Marini's keeping his boots, but there go the knee sliders. I think Rins is going to have another shoey, just for good measure. Both of Alex's boots are going into the crowd as well. You need to be like an American NFL quarterback here, don't you, to reach the grid?
Yeah, it's quite a distance from over there, but I guess Alex Rins probably feels like he can walk in water at the moment as he launches the boot.
Well, where did that one go? Did that one make it over the fence and onto the grid?
Looks like it. Yeah, there's a bit of a scramble going on for that boot now.
Yeah, let's be careful, guys. Let's keep it all calm. We know it's the rodeo, but a rodeo that's won again by Alex Rins. Absolutely brilliant performance by him. That will live long in the memory for him and the team. Absolutely love those race-winning trophies here as well, here in COTA.